I really can't remember the last time a straight-up comedy movie was released in theaters, where the film's sole purpose is to make you laugh. We've seen a handful of rom-coms here or there, as well as some action comedies, but truly, I don't recall the last time a hardcore comedy movie was last released theatrically. And so that's what made me excited about the release of the Naked Gun Legacy sequel starring Liam Neeson. I don't know about you, but I've missed seeing these types of films in theaters. And honestly, I've missed getting quality comedy movies in general. Because streaming has dominated the comedy genre since around the mid-2010s, and well, let's just say the standard is not up to par compared to what we had from 2015 and before that. Before I dive deeper into the future of comedies though, let me take a little time to discuss 2025's The Naked Gun. Like I said, I was excited for this movie. And yes, it is a good comedy film. Neeson was probably the best choice to take on Leslie Nielsen's mantle, being that he's a Hollywood veteran, has a similar build, look, and screen presence to Nielsen, and despite not taking a stab at comedies often in his career, Neeson works in this because people haven't been taking him too seriously as an action star in recent years. So we got to take advantage of that in The Naked Gun. Outside of Neeson, there really isn't much else to pinpoint here other than the comedy, which is exactly what you should expect from a comedy movie. The purpose of The Naked Gun is to make you laugh, while also paying homage to the original movies, and it accomplished both things. There were times I was laughing hysterically. I was looking at my friend, we were dying. I have not laughed that hard at a movie in theaters in such a long time, so I was pleasantly surprised by that. Usually comedy sequels are not funny at all, but this was hilarious. But I'll make it clear that not every joke lands, and I think that's because the modern day audience has a different taste in humor. Comedy has evolved over the years, and so some of the humor spoofs are known for simply doesn't land for younger audiences. As for myself, a lot of that humor did land. I love the type of comedy we get in movies like this and Airplane. One of my favorite lines from Airplane is smoking or non-smoking, and he says smoking, and they hand him a plane ticket that is smoking. Brilliant stuff. Of course, we get lines like that in The Naked Gun where things people say gets taken too literally. I still love that type of humor, but it doesn't always click for everyone. Sometimes, too, characters go off on random tangents. Some may have found those jokes funny, but my theater did not laugh a whole lot. Regardless, it's a really funny movie, especially in comparison to any spoof post-2010, all of which were awful. Hell, I'd even argue most spoofs in the 2000s after the release of Austin Powers and Goldmember were terrible. So to get one that is actually good on the big screen was really nice. If there's anything I'm happy about, it's that. Real quick, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications for upcoming videos. So 2025's The Naked Gun, part of the Naked Gun franchise, this is film number 4, is a great time. If you have not seen it yet, I think it's worth the money. I would at least love for you to support this because we don't get enough comedy movies in theaters, let alone spoofs. So go watch the movie in theaters. I think you'll find it hilarious. Now then, that brings me into the next topic. Are theatrical comedies officially doomed? The reason I ask is because, well, the box office yet again has shown no signs that comedies still work in theaters. The latest victim is The Naked Gun, as the movie's box office debuted to $28 million worldwide, and nearly $17 million of that was domestically. Not that $28 million is bad, just disappointing, and as I've said it many times in this video already, we don't get many comedy movies in theaters anymore. There's a reason for that. Part of the reason why is because they don't perform well at the box office. Lo and behold, The Naked Gun. It's another example of why comedy movies are not shown in theaters too often. Because people don't see them anymore, which is sad. The budget is $42 million. It's made $28 million already. Honestly, I'd be shocked if this cracked $100 million. Maybe it gets to $100 million. That's about as far as I go. It's not going to get anywhere close to $150 million. I'm telling you right now. The best this movie can do is probably 90, maybe 100 if it's lucky. Even at that box office number, it won't be making money. Likely at that point, the studio will have lost money. This has been an ongoing occurrence for comedy movies ever since the mid-2010s, when they started going exclusively to streaming. And outside of a few rom-coms over the last 10 years, it's difficult finding comedies that have grossed $100 million plus worldwide. And good luck finding a comedy from like 2017 to now that has made absolute bank. I'm talking $300, $400 million plus worldwide. It's non-existent. So let's scroll through my letterbox and go over the theatrical comedies released over the last 10 years and how they did at the box office. Okay, we'll go through genre, comedy, done. All right, so this year, all we really have is The Naked Gun, straight up comedy-wise, which isn't doing so great at the box office. Then you got to go all the way back to 2023. Anyone But You, I know, did really well. It made $200 million plus worldwide, but again, that's a rom-com. Then before that, in 2023, it was No Hard Feelings, but that made under $100 million. What else? All right, we got Ticket to Paradise in 2022, made 160 plus million. I know that. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent did terrible, very poorly at the box office. The Lost City did well, almost made $200 million, but again, that's a rom-com. And I'm looking through the rest of these, and I don't see too many comedies released theatrically. You got Good Boys. There's, I guess, Instant Family is kind of a comedy. Blockers, but Blockers did not do that great at the box office either. It also made under $100 million worldwide. So yeah, there's not a whole lot of theatrical comedies here that stand out to me as far as making big money goes, unless they're rom-coms, which there were only 3 that I mentioned. I think the last 10 years proves that comedies are in jeopardy of being released in theaters. I would not be surprised if in the next 5, 10, 15 years, comedies are only on streaming. And 2025's The Naked Gun is another nail in the coffin. Maybe the box office recovers, it could get better. I don't know, I'm not an expert, but all I'm seeing right now is that this is gonna be another disappointment for the comedy genre in theaters. And it's not even like this is a bad movie. This is a good film, but people aren't showing up, which is a shame. So that brings me back to my question. Are theatrical comedies officially doomed? I think the answer may be yes. We've seen it time and time again where, oh, we're going to release this movie in theaters and hopefully it does good. Then it underperforms by a large margin. The Naked Gun is yet again an example of that. I think the only way Hollywood can solve this problem is either by releasing all of their comedies in theaters or by just stringing along a large number of comedy movies where you have multiple big actors in the same film, along with concepts that intrigue audiences. That's the only way you're going to get people's butts back in the theaters watching comedy movies. To me, it feels like Hollywood is giving up. They're making crap comedies because they know nobody wants to watch them in theaters anymore. They throw them on the streaming, and that's all we get. The most recent example of that is Happy Gilmore 2, which had they planned on putting it in theaters, I'm sure a better effort would have been in store. So what do you guys think? Are theatrical comedies dead? Are comedies in general dead because 99% of them are put right to streaming and usually suck? Let me know in the comments your thoughts. Well, thank you all so much for watching this video. Again, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and if you enjoyed yourself, leave a thumbs up. I'll catch you all in the next one. See you then.